right now I want to get to another topic, which is near and dear to my heart, and that is our education system in America, specifically charter schools. And I want to go to Jed Wallace, who's the president and CEO of the California Charter Schools Association. Jed, how are you today?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing great. And, charter schools, we embrace high levels of accountability, but being as scintillating as Angelina Jolie, I feel like you've set me up.
We could have talked about Angelina Jolie now, and you could call back tomorrow, but no, actually, you are more important than the Angelina Jolie story, believe it or not. First of all, I get email. We talk about charter schools all the time, and school choice, and all the different free market reforms of education there are out there. And every day I'll get emails from people who are like, what exactly is a charter school? And I hate that I keep going past that first initial description step. There's no better person to ask than the president of the Charter School Association in California. What is a charter school?
A charter school is a public school that must serve all students, that is freed up from many of the restrictions that hold back traditional public schools. So that gives them the flexibility to be able to do all sorts of things that the traditional system can't. And charter schools are held to very high standards of accountability, so that if charter schools underperform, they are closed. And this recipe has allowed charter schools to be incredibly successful and is making them resonate with parents and educators across the state in ways that simply hasn't been here for many, many years.
Who decides if the schools are underperforming?
There are a couple of ways. There's the authorizer, the school district, the county, the state board that may have authorized the school, and there are also minimum performance expectations that are articulated in law. And one of the things that the association is working on right now is to increase the minimum academic performance expectations for charter schools. We're embracing higher and higher levels of accountability as the movement continues to mature.
Is there anything in California that says charter schools have to open up in certain neighborhoods or low-income neighborhoods only, or can they open up anywhere in the state?
Charter schools are entitled to open wherever there is demand for them within the state. That said, I think that there is great energy within the movement to serve historically underserved kids. And if you look at some of the studies that are coming out about California's charter schools, you see that that is one of our sweet spots. We are doing incredibly well with low-income families. In fact, we're erasing the achievement gap that's so long been at play within the public education system. There's so many within our traditional system that are clinging to this kind of debilitating thought that it's impossible to close the achievement gap. And here charter schools are doing incredibly well with that particular problem.
I love it. Helping these kids who would be put on a track for failure and just push through a failed system are now getting a new chance, a new opportunity.
Exactly. And it's really rather striking what charter schools are doing. I mean, the statisticians, they come in and they say that the correlation between low academic achievement and poverty is 1/4 as strong within California's charter schools as in the traditional system. You get results of that kind, people really sit up and pay attention.
Say that again. Explain that fact one more time, how that works.
So the correlation within the traditional system, as I said, for a long time, people have clung to this notion that there's no way to break the achievement gap, that low income basically will doom someone to low performance. And what we're finding is that correlation, which is so strong between poverty and low achievement in traditional schools, is evaporating before our eyes within charter schools.
Wow.
Just another really positive sign that charter schools are doing exactly what the movement's been designed to do.
And there's so many different ways that you guys are different than public schools. But you talked about the restraints that you don't have. What do you think is the most influential in your success?
What I think is happening is that charter schools have the flexibility to do what parents want them to do. I'm on the board of a charter school. My children go to a charter school. The charter school, it does things that the local traditional schools don't do. And so then we have great results, and then we have these lotteries, these heartbreaking lotteries, where at our school, we have 8 applications for every 1 slot that's available. The parents start coming to the school saying, will you please expand? Will you please serve more students? They come to the school and say, you have this great elementary school. Will you open a middle school too? And after many years, in spite of all the hardships that charter schools face, the school says, okay, I will do more for this community that I've come to serve so much. This is what's driving charter school growth in California. It's responding to demand for parents, and it's specifically because we are able to be flexible in responding to what parents want that poise us for this kind of success.
Amazing that that's even a concept. Like a unique thing. Wait, we're gonna educate your children in the way that the parents want? What a revolutionary system. It's absurd. And you talked about the heartbreaking lotteries. And if anyone's seen Waiting for Superman, you can see up close the tears and the heartbreak the lottery if you don't get chosen to a charter school or allowed to go to a charter school because there's just not enough spots. Heartbreaking, horrible, and I hate it. So obviously the solution would be to have more charter schools in California, make it easier for them to open up and just have at it. As many people want to go, they should be there. But there's a bill in the state house that will prevent that. Tell us about, is it AB 401?
Yes, we have AB 401, which is a bill that would put a cap on the number of charter schools that there can be in the state. During a moment when we have unprecedented growth in charter schools. This year, in spite of this financial crisis that we're in that has disproportionately affected charter schools, we opened in the state of California 115 new schools. In the last 2 years, we have added 100,000 students to charter school enrollment. That shows how much parents want charter schools.
In the last how many years? 100,000 kids in how many years?
In just 2 years.
What?
Yeah. So it's rather seismic what is happening regarding parent and the public's general demand for charter schools. And then in the face of that, we have some legislators that just don't get it here in Sacramento, and they propose these kinds of changes. And so, what we want to see happen, of course, is that charter schools continue to be able to grow. This bill, it tries to put a cap, 400 or 500 above where we currently are. But then it sneaks in some language saying that no district may have any more than 10% of its schools be charter schools, which would basically impose an instantaneous cap all over, in places all over the state, especially in the places where we already have the greatest charter school growth. So this is the kind of stuff that our members for certain and parents and really anybody who is concerned about public education should realize is just way off the mark and should oppose wherever possible.
Sure. Why is there a cap? What is this person's argument? And I would ask it to him, but he refused our many requests to come on the program, the guy who proposed this, the assemblyman. So why is he doing this?
It's pretty hard to read into others' an intention. It gets me into a little bit of trouble. But what I will say is something I hear, frequently cited is that we have a period of great financial hardship for the state, and so we have to think about how we protect our traditional system. And what I think is that, in fact, the challenges that we face as a state is an argument for why we should have more charter schools, because charter schools have the flexibility to do new things, to be even more efficient with our resources. And if you look at how charter schools have performed, for the last 20 years, having been under-resourced, it's a reason for us to put even more of a bet on charter schools during this period of great challenge.
So the argument's we're broke, so let's continue to do more of the same thing that made us broke in the first place, throwing money at the problem. I'll say that. You don't have to. That's a horrible argument. I know I'm not asking you to get inside his mind, but what are the people who support this bill? What else are they saying about it? There's got to be something better than that as to why they want to cap the number of charter schools.
Well, it's as sad as it is, it's just one of the many bills that we see that is trying to hold charter schools back. This one is trying to put an outright cap on charter schools. Others are trying to take whole sections of the education code, which charter schools have been waived from, and to try and impose those back on charter schools. And it's really, I believe, something that grows out of the protectors of the status quo realizing that charter schools are picking up steam, picking up momentum, and however we can slow them down, either by putting a cap on them or by putting some new a significant chunk of new regulation on charters would be a way to protect their interests.
All right, Jed, we support you. We're going to contact our local assemblymen, make sure they don't support AB 401, and make sure they continue to support charter schools and your continued growth and success. How can we do some more for the California Charter School Association?
Well, the thing that's most important right now is that people have a chance to to tell their stories. People are wondering why is public opinion changing so rapidly? Is it because of these movies and those kinds of things? And those things help. There's no doubt about it. But our polling would suggest that what's really changing it is word of mouth. When you have 365,000 students in charter schools, that's a lot of words and a lot of mouths. And 87% of people who have a friend or a family member in a charter school is a strong supporter of the movement in general. So one thing, Mike, that you can do is just simply get the stories in front of your readers. They can be from all walks of life. They can be from educators. They can be from parents. They can be from community members who had an incredible experience working as board members on charter schools. I mean, in my parents' generation, they were both educators. There was no way for people in the 70s and 80s and 90s to participate in public education. And yet what's happening in charter schools is it's intuitive. Whoever it is, from whatever walk of life, you want to get involved in public education, you do so within a charter school context.
I love it. We're gonna. As I hate we have to take a break, Jed. We're gonna talk again. All right. We're gonna support you guys any way we can in this movement.
Appreciate it so much, Mike.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Jed Wallace, there, President and CEO of the California Charter Schools Association.